Can you blow that out, Clara? The smoke is getting in my eyes. I looked down at the single, sad candle stuck into a complimentary cupcake the waiter had brought over out of pity. It was my 30th birthday. I looked up at my mother, Linda. She wasn't looking at me. She was looking at my younger sister, Bella, fixing a stray hair on Bella's forehead. "Did you hear me?" my mother snapped, still not making eye contact. "Blow it out. We need to take a photo of Bella for her Instagram. The lighting in this booth is actually decent for once." I leaned forward and blew out the candle. A thin wisp of gray smoke curled up between us. "Happy birthday to me," I whispered. "Oh, stop mumbling." My aunt, Karen, interjected from across the table, swirling her third martini. "You're 30, Clara. It's not a milestone anymore. It's a deadline. A deadline you're failing, by the way." She gestured vaguely at my ringless hand and my simple black blouse. "Still single. Still working that, what do you call it? That little typing job? Honestly, it's embarrassing. Look at Bella. She's 26 and she's already auditioning for a commercial. That's a career." Bella preened, flashing a smile that showed off her veneers. "It's a national commercial, Aunt Karen, for toothpaste." "See," my mother beamed. "Star power. Some people have it. Some people support the people who have it." She finally looked at me. Her eyes were cold, assessing, and dismissive. "So, Clara," she said, "since it is your birthday, you can pay the tip tonight. It's the least you can do since we let you tag along to Bella's celebration dinner." I felt a cold, hard knot tighten in my stomach. They thought this was Bella's celebration dinner. They thought I was just the invisible, broke sister tagging along. They didn't know that the phone sitting face down next to my plate was buzzing with notifications from the London Stock Exchange. And they certainly didn't know that in exactly 20 minutes, the typing job they mocked was going to be broadcast on every screen in Times Square, including the massive digital billboard visible right out this restaurant window. To understand why my family treats me like a discarded napkin, you have to understand the currency they trade in. They trade in loud logos, loud voices, loud accomplishments. My mother, Linda, is a faded beauty queen who never got over the fact that she peaked in 1989. My sister, Bella, is her clone, high maintenance, low effort. She describes herself as an influencer, which mostly means she buys followers and expects free drinks. And then there's me, Clara. To them, I am the gray mouse. I wear monochromatic clothes, usually black or charcoal. No Gucci belts. No Louis Vuitton logos plastered all over my chest. They see my unbranded cashmere sweater and assume it's from a discount bin. They don't know it's the row, and it costs more than Bella's car. They ask me what I do, and I tell them I work in digital infrastructure. To them, that means I fix routers or type data into spreadsheets. It's tech support, isn't it? My brother-in-law, Chad, likes to joke at Thanksgiving. "Hey Clara, my Wi-Fi is slow. Can you fix it?" I never correct them. I never tell them that digital infrastructure means I am the founder and CEO of Nexus Stream, a cloud computing firm that provides the back-end architecture for 3 of the world's largest streaming services. I never tell them that I sold a minority stake last year for 9 figures. I never tell them that I own the penthouse in the building where Bella rents a studio apartment. Why the secrecy? Because I tested them. 5 years ago, when I landed my first major contract, I bought my mother a designer bag. A real one. She looked at it, sneered, and asked if I bought it off a street vendor in Chinatown. "It doesn't even have the gold buckle," she complained. "It looks cheap." Then she asked if I could loan her $5,000 for a business opportunity. I realized then that if they knew I had money, they wouldn't love me more. They would just consume me. They are emotional vampires. If they smelled blood, my money, they would drain me dry and complain about the taste. So, I became the ice queen. I let them underestimate me. I let them pay for my burger at diners while they bragged about their leased BMWs. I sat in silence while they lectured me on ambition. I hoarded my success like a dragon hoards gold. Not out of greed, but out of self-preservation. But tonight was different. Tonight was my 30th birthday. And tonight was also the night Nexus Stream was going public. The IPO was launching. The embargo on the press release was lifting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I had invited them to dinner, hoping foolishly, hoping that for one night, they might just be a family, that they might celebrate me. Instead, they turned it into a shrine for Bella. The restaurant, L'Orangerie, was one of those places that prioritized aesthetic over food quality. Velvet booths, dim lighting, and a DJ playing house music a little too loudly. It was impossible to get a reservation here. My mother assumed Bella's agent had pulled strings. She didn't know I owned a 15% stake in the hospitality group that ran the place. "This risotto is dry," my mother complained, pushing her plate away. "Clara, send it back." "It looks fine, Mom," I said calmly, taking a sip of sparkling water. "Don't be difficult," she snapped. "You wouldn't know good food if it hit you in the face. You eat microwave meals." Bella laughed, scrolling through her phone. "Mom, don't be mean. Clara likes her microwave meals. It fits her budget. Not everyone can afford organic." She looked up at me, her eyes wide with fake sympathy. "By the way, Clara, I have some old clothes I'm getting rid of. Some Zara stuff from last season. Do you want them? They might fit you if you know, suck it in a little." "I'm fine, Bella," I said. "My wardrobe is sufficient." "Sufficient," Chad snorted, tearing into a roll. "That's the word for you, Clara. Sufficient. Boring. Safe." He leaned across the table, his breath smelling of garlic and arrogance. "You know, I was talking to a guy at the gym. He runs a call center. I could get you an interview. It pays $15 an hour. Better than whatever freelance gig you're pretending to have." "I'm not looking for a job, Chad," I said, cutting my steak with precision. "God, you're stubborn." My mother sighed. "We're trying to help you. You're 30 years old today." 30! And what do you have to show for it? No husband. No kids. No property. She gestured around the restaurant. "Look at this place. Look at these people. These are successful people. Do you think any of them would look twice at you?" I looked around the room. I saw the CEO of a rival tech firm 2 tables away. He had nodded at me respectfully when I walked in. I saw the mayor dining in the corner. He had emailed me yesterday asking for a donation to his campaign. "I think I fit in just fine," I said. "Delusional," Aunt Karen muttered. "She's delusional. It's sad." "Anyway," Bella interrupted, tapping her glass. "Enough about Clara's tragic life. Let's talk about the real news. My audition." She beamed at the table. "The casting director said I have a unique look. If I get this toothpaste commercial, it pays $2,000. $2,000. Incredible!" my mother gasped, clapping her hands. "Rich and famous. Drinks are on us tonight." She turned to the waiter who was hovering nearby. "Bring us another bottle of champagne. The expensive stuff. We're celebrating a star." The waiter looked at me. I gave him a tiny, almost imperceptible nod. He hurried away. "You know," Bella said, looking at me with a smirk, "when I get famous, I'll hire you, Clara. I'll need a personal assistant. You're good at organizing things and being invisible. It would be perfect for you." "I'm sure you'd be a demanding boss," I said dryly. "Oh, totally," Bella laughed. "But I'd let you wear my hand-me-downs. So it's a win-win." My mother leaned in, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "Clara, honestly, think about it. Bella is going places. You need to hitch your wagon to her star before it's too late. Otherwise, you're just going to be the spinster aunt who ruins Christmas because she can't afford gifts." I put my knife and fork down. I wiped my mouth with the linen napkin. I checked my watch. 7:58 p.m. 2 minutes. "You're right, Mom," I said. My voice was calm, steady, devoid of the anger burning in my chest. "I do need to think about my future." Finally, my mother threw her hands up. A moment of clarity. "And I agree," I continued. "Success should be celebrated. Real success. Undeniable success." "Exactly," Bella preened. "Like my commercial." "No," I said. "Bigger." At that moment, the music in the restaurant lowered. The ambient chatter died down. A manager, a man in a sharp suit named Henri, walked into the center of the dining room. He held a remote control. "Ladies and gentlemen," Henri announced, his voice projecting across the room, "if I could direct your attention to the main screens. We have a special broadcast." A moment of local pride. What's going on? Chad asked, looking around. Is it a football game? Shh, my mother hissed. Maybe it's a celebrity sighting. Henri pointed the remote at the massive 80-inch screens mounted on the walls. Simultaneously, he pointed to the floor-to-ceiling windows that looked out onto the city square. Across the street, the massive digital billboard, the one that usually showed ads for Coke or Nike, went pitch black. 7:59 p.m. The screens in the restaurant flickered to life. It was CNN Business. The anchor was sitting at the desk, looking serious and excited. Breaking news this hour, the anchor said. The largest tech IPO of the year has just launched. Nexus Stream, the shadow giant behind the global cloud infrastructure, has gone public. Boring. Bella groaned, rolling her eyes. Why are we watching the news? Henri, change the channel. Quiet, I said. It was the first time I had given a command that night. It was sharp, like a whip crack. Bella flinched. She looked at me, shocked. The valuation is staggering, the anchor continued. Opening at $40 a share, putting the market cap at $4 billion. My mother yawned. Who cares about stocks? Clara, ask for the check. And at the helm of this empire, the anchor said, is a woman who has remained notoriously private. Until tonight. The image on the screen changed. It wasn't a stock chart anymore. It was a photo. A high-resolution, professional headshot. Of me. It was Clara. But not the Clara sitting in the booth. This Clara was wearing a white power suit. Her chin was up. Her eyes were fierce. The caption underneath read, Clara Vance, founder and CEO. Net worth, $1.2 billion. The silence at our table was instantaneous. It was violent. Bella's fork dropped from her hand. It clattered against the china, ringing out like a bell. My mother froze, her mouth mid-open, looking like a fish gasping for air. Chad choked on his bread roll. Is that? Aunt Karen whispered, her voice trembling. Is that you? I didn't answer. I simply pointed out the window. Outside, the giant digital billboard across the street lit up. It was the same photo, 50 feet tall. Clara Vance, the face of the future. The light from the billboard flooded into the restaurant, washing our table in a cold white glow. It illuminated the shock on their faces in high definition. The restaurant erupted in whispers. People were pointing at the screen, then pointing at our table. The CEO from 2 tables away stood up and raised his glass to me. Henri, the manager, walked over to our table. He was carrying a bottle. But it wasn't the champagne my mother had ordered. It was a bottle of Louis Roederer Cristal. Vintage. Compliments of the house, Miss Vance, Henri said, bowing slightly. And congratulations on the IPO. We are honored to have you here on such a historic night. My mother looked at Henri. Then she looked at the billboard. Then she looked at me. Her face was a mask of pure, unadulterated horror. CEO, she squeaked. Billion. With a B. Yes, mother, I said, picking up my glass of water. Digital infrastructure. Remember? The little typing job. Bella was shaking. She looked at her phone. She looked at the screen. But, you drive a Honda, she stammered. I like the safety rating, I said. And it keeps people from asking me for money. But, you rent, Chad yelled, trying to process the information. I own the building, Chad, I said. And the one next to it. And this restaurant's parent company. I looked at Bella. By the way, I said, that toothpaste commercial you're auditioning for. Bella nodded dumbly. The agency is Vantage Marketing. Yes, she whispered. I acquired them this morning, I said. Part of the expansion. I took a sip of water. I don't think you have the right look for the campaign, Bella. We're going in a different direction. Someone with less ego and more talent. Bella burst into tears. Mascara ran down her cheeks, staining her face with black streaks. You can't do that, she wailed. I can, I said. I'm the owner. My mother recovered from her shock. The predator instinct kicked back in. She reached across the table, knocking over the salt shaker, trying to grab my hand. Her eyes were wide, desperate, and terrifyingly greedy. Clara, my baby, she cried, her voice rising to a frantic pitch. Oh my God, I knew it. I always knew you were special. Didn't I tell you, Karen? I said Clara is the smart one. You said I was a failure. I reminded her coldly. 10 minutes ago. You said I was a deadline that passed. I was joking. She sobbed, squeezing my hand so hard her nails dug in. It was tough love. I was pushing you. And look, it worked. We're rich. The family is rich. I pulled my hand away. I wiped it with a napkin, as if her touch was contagious. We? I asked. Yes, us. She gestured to the group. We need to celebrate. Forget the toothpaste commercial. We need a vacation. A yacht. Oh, Clara, you have to pay off the house. And Chad has debts. We can fix everything. I stood up. The restaurant went quiet again. Everyone was watching the woman from the billboard. Henri, I said. Yes, Miss Vance. Please split the bill. My mother's jaw dropped. Split? What? I'll pay for my water, I said. And the steak. I pointed to the table. They will pay for the 3 bottles of champagne, the appetizers, and the dry risotto. Clara, my mother shrieked. You can't be serious. You're a billionaire. And you, I said, looking down at her, are the people who ignored me on my birthday? You are the people who mocked me, who belittled me, who treated me like a servant. I picked up my purse. It was a simple black bag. But now, they stared at it like it was the Holy Grail. You wanted me to have undeniable success, I said. Well, here it is. And the best part about undeniable success is that I don't need your approval anymore. And I certainly don't need your company. You're walking out, Aunt Karen gasped. On your family. You're not family, I said. You're overhead, and I'm cutting costs. I turned to Henri. If they can't pay the bill, I said, loud enough for the room to hear, call the police. I don't want any special treatment for them. Understood, Miss Vance, Henri said, crossing his arms and blocking their exit. I walked out of the restaurant and into the cool night air. The light from my own face on the billboard illuminated the sidewalk. I didn't look back, but I heard later that Chad's card was declined. My mother had to call her ex-husband my father, whom she hates, to come down and bail them out of the bill. It was humiliating. Bella didn't get the commercial. In fact, she's having a hard time getting any auditions now that the industry knows she's blacklisted by the biggest media conglomerate in the city. My mother calls me every day. I've never answered. I bought a new house last week. It has a gate. A very high gate. And for my next birthday, I'm spending it alone, in a spa in the Maldives, enjoying the sweetest sound in the world, silence. If you enjoyed this story of birthday justice, hit that like button and subscribe. And remember, be careful who you ignore at the dinner table. You never know when they're about to buy the restaurant. See you in the next one.